Chapter 4, Stay away from Xu Yiyi. I don't like the way he looks at you. After breaking his 32 years of self-restraint, Siwang found himself unable to stop. Every day without tasting Xu Yiyi felt like his body was crawling with ants. Xu Yiyi was like a drug to him, addictive. Be gentle. Xu Yiyi softly complained, wrapping her arms around the man's neck. To be honest, Xu Yiyi didn't particularly enjoy these moments. Siwang had no real skill in such matters. Last week, she'd had her happiest time since their marriage, as her period lasted for 7 whole days, giving her a much-needed break. But as soon as it ended, Siwang seemed determined to make up for all the lost time. However, today she noticed something different about him. Xu Yiyi didn't dare stop him and could only weakly beg for mercy, for in their marriage, she had no power. Although she had a marriage certificate, in this aspect, she didn't feel like the legitimate wife. She felt more like a servant girl, there to be used at will. During dinner, Xu Yiyi kept looking at you, the man rasped. The flush on Xu Yiyi's face quickly faded, and her heartbeat sped up out of nervousness. Could it be that Siwang had found out about her past relationship with Xu Yiyi? Oh really? I didn't notice. Her voice trembled, not only from nerves, but also because of the current situation, making it impossible for her to speak a full sentence. Have you two met before? Siwang asked again. Xu Yiyi forced herself to remain calm and quickly shook her head. Siwang's voice deepened. At their wedding, I didn't feel like he truly loved Xiaoqin. She's not his type. Xu Yiyi's mind was foggy, but upon hearing him mention this, her awareness sharpened slightly. Why do you think that? Xu Yiyi asked curiously. Because I'm a man, Siwang replied, his answer straightforward. Xu Yiyi found it amusing, but also knew he was being truthful. He wasn't lying. Xu Yiyi loved no one but himself, and more than that, he loved the power and influence of the Bai family. He was a selfish person, a refined opportunist, a classic phoenix man. Don't you feel bad for letting your niece marry a man who doesn't love her? Siwang flipped her over, making her kneel on the bed. She couldn't see his face, but she could guess that it was expressionless, cold as usual. Xiaoqin loves Xu Yiyi. As long as she's happy, it doesn't matter. At the very least, Xu Yiyi is doing a good job of pretending he loves her. As long as she feels happy, that's all that matters. It's no one else's concern. President Fu, is that how you see marriage? No need for love or feelings, just make it look good for everyone else? You sure have a casual attitude toward marriage, Xu Yiyi teased. The man didn't respond. She didn't get a chance to say another word after that. Finally, the man bit her ear and warned, at family gatherings, stay away from Xu Yiyi. I don't like the way he looks at you. Xu Yiyi was half asleep, but she had confirmed one thing, Siwang didn't know about her past with Xu Yiyi. He just didn't like other men coveting what was his. So, she closed her eyes in peace. The next morning, Xu Yiyi woke up late. Siwang waited for her so they could go to work together. They parted ways in the parking lot. When Xu Yiyi arrived at the office, Chen Wenli started sniping at her. Wow, first day after your promotion and you're late. You're really something, Secretary Xu. I wasn't feeling well last night, and I woke up late. I've already reported it, Xu Yiyi responded coolly, placing her bag down and starting her work. Ma Rong noticed the red mark on her neck and quietly pointed it out to Chen Wenli. Already bitter about Xu Yiyi's promotion, Chen Wenli, spurred on by Ma Rong, exploded. Secretary Xu, not feeling well? More like not feeling well in bed, right? Look at that hickey on your neck. You were with a man last night, weren't you? And that man wasn't Special Assistant Xu, was it? You probably slept with him to get promoted, huh? Chen Wenli's words were sharp and direct, her anger completely unchecked. Qing immediately stood up and scolded, Wenli, shut your mouth. Don't spread rumors, or you could get fired. Chen Wenli realized she'd gone too far and clammed up, returning to her work. Xu Yiyi ignored her, but it was clear that the tension between them had escalated. The office had many eyes and ears, and it didn't take long for rumors to reach Xu Hao. Hearing that he was involved in a scandal with Xu Yiyi, Xu Hao spat out his water all over his computer screen. He was terrified. How was he supposed to report this to President Fu? The boss's wife allegedly seducing the assistant? Xu Hao was on the verge of tears. He was just sitting in his office, and this problem fell out of the sky onto his head. Sure enough, after Xu Hao reported the situation, Fu Siwang's face darkened. Fire Chen Wenli, Fu Siwang ordered. President Fu, if we fire Secretary Chen now, the rumors will only intensify, and people will assume there's something between me and Madam, Xu Hao pointed out. Fu Siwang rubbed his temples in frustration. Xu Yiyi was his wife, but rumors linking her with Xu Hao were spreading non-stop. We'll leave it for now. Have Qing maintain order. Anyone caught gossiping during work hours will be punished according to the company rules, Fu Siwang instructed. Understood, President Fu. Just as Xu Hao was about to leave, Fu Siwang added, order 2 lunches for today, including a serving of snow fungus and red date soup. Make sure the dishes are good for nourishing yin and boosting energy. Xu Hao blushed and left the office. Around noon, Xu Yiyi received a WeChat message from Fu Siwang, asking her to come to his office for lunch during her break. She usually ate with Lu Xia at the cafeteria, so she tried to refuse, but Fu Siwang insisted, leaving her no choice but to make up an excuse and head upstairs to the president's office. When she arrived, Xu Hao had already set the table. As expected, the president's lunch was much more luxurious than anything from the cafeteria. Xu Yiyi ate her fill. Drink the snow fungus soup, Fu Siwang ordered. I'm too full, Xu Yiyi protested. She wasn't fond of thick soups like that. Be good. Fu Siwang pulled her onto his lap and then picked up the bowl, feeding her himself. Xu Yiyi had no choice but to obediently drink it down. Remember to drink this often. It's good for women, Fu Siwang whispered in her ear, his deep voice raspy. Xu Yiyi. Knock, knock, knock. Suddenly, the sound of knocking interrupted them, followed by Qing's voice, President Fu, are you in there? Xu Yiyi panicked. What if Qing opened the door and saw them? She quickly jumped off Fu Siwang's lap and, without thinking twice, ran over to the desk and hid under it. Come in, Fu Siwang called. Qing entered the room and immediately smelled the aroma of the food. Glancing over at the coffee table, she saw the remnants of a hearty meal, including 2 bowls and 2 sets of chopsticks. If she hadn't seen Xu Hao in the cafeteria earlier, she might have assumed he had been the one eating with the president. But since Xu Hao had eaten downstairs, who had shared this meal with President Fu? Secretary Qin, do you have something to report? Fu Siwang asked, sitting behind his desk, pretending to focus on his documents. Xu Yiyi, hiding under the desk, raised her head and was greeted by an unexpected sight. She suddenly had a mischievous thought, what would Fu Siwang look like embarrassed? Leaning in closer, Xu Yiyi threw the fabric of his suit pants. Hiss. Fu Siwang **ck**d in a sharp breath, his eyes darkening with suppressed frustration.